get lost tonight. Let's go somewhere. Let's get wild tonight. Let's run away from here. Let's run away, run away. 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 Let's go into the wild. Let's go into the wild. Let's go into the wild. I can feel your heartbeat. 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 To that rhythm, to that rhythm. Oh, I can feel your heartbeat. To that rhythm, to that rhythm. I can feel your heartbeat. I can feel your heartbeat. I can feel your heartbeat. To that rhythm, to that rhythm. Oh, I can feel your heartbeat. To that rhythm, to that rhythm. I can feel your heartbeat. I can feel your heartbeat. I can feel your heartbeat. Looking back when she was young, living wild and free. Her life an empty book filled with magic memories. Who is she now? The girl who fell down, dreaming
Hello, 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 hello. Alright. Oh, man. What in the world is... Wow, that just messed up. Alright, how's everybody doing today? So this is gonna be interesting. Colonial charters for the first time. And I thought there was a difficulty setting for the, what do you call it? Disasters, but it's just on or off. That freaking sucked. Cause I was gonna do one too. I'll show you. Just so you know, I'm not pulling your leg, toaster. Disasters on off. I thought it was this. I thought that's what disasters were, but it wasn't. But started a new town called Tornadoville, because that's probably what's going to hit. So haven't done anything yet. I just started it up. Let's see, what do we got? So I want to see some of these new buildings that are supposedly in here. See anything new though? Maybe it's after you grow stuff? I don't know. Set at 67%. Go ahead and set these guys to clear. Clear this little spot here. And that way I can build some houses. Let's go ahead and set the iron. Go ahead and do that. That's a lot of iron. Probably shouldn't do that though. Alright, I'll go right there. Oh, then the trees. Gotta make sure we get the trees. But we get some wood. Let's see. Go ahead and max that out so they just and just go to it. I need the job thing up. That's right there. Is that it? Yes, that is it. Go ahead and put that over there. Alright, while you guys are doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and start building some kind of house. Let's see. Gonna want a road there, so what do I got? I got 10 people and 10 kids. Storage for logs and all that is full. Wow. Go ahead and max it out. Oh, that was sweet. It went ahead and stacked it up. Okay. I need 2 builders at minimum. Oh, they're really clearing this. So we're not gonna worry about starving, so we're gonna go ahead and plant some fields. Jeez, already freaking summer. Okay, so this is gonna be like a township. I gotta get a woodcutter over there, blacksmith, tailor. So I can go ahead. Let's start out with some 11 by 11s. Those going. And once they clear those out, what are you saying? Sword for stone? No, it's not. Remove the other 2 trees, and then you won't have any issue. Chop down the trees. Okay, got 1 house. Of course, the builders get the first house. That's the way to go. Alright, as soon as you guys remove those last 2 trees right there, we'll be able to store. His dog's barking. Let's see. I need to. Oop. Reserve of food is low already. That figures. It's because they're getting their houses built. What is it I need to set? I don't know why I keep closing that job window. Set everybody to a builder. Just set you guys to build. What are you doing? Chop down some stuff. Come on. Chop. Hey there. Yeah, my mic's working okay. I wanted to make sure my mic was working. I was like, holy crap, have I been talking this whole time and nobody been able to hear me? Let me see. A freaking Scorp chat crashed. Oh, jeez. Was clearing a town for home. Connect. Oh, wow, it actually connected to Beam. I didn't have to reset the token. Wow. That is awesome. That is freaking awesome. I am so glad it didn't require that. Ah, crap. I'm down to 4 food. Come on, guys. I'm gonna starve to death. Because you guys won't get your freaking breeders in gear. I should have put a gathering hut, shouldn't I? Ugh. Huh! How's the mod going, he says. How's the mod going, he says. Well, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die of starvation soon. Pretty sure that's gonna happen. Because they don't want to build me stuff. They're just like, you know what? Screw you. We're not doing that. Yeah, I'm out of food now. Now I own 1 5, 1 castle, and 1 major city. Huh. Stop complaining about food. Jeez, at least you got firewood. It's late autumn and you guys haven't even gone out to build. Oh, this sucks. I keep closing the job. Oh yeah, when are you going? When is that gonna be? I know you said this weekend. Tomorrow you're leaving? Oh man. I'm gonna have no mods like all weekend. That sucks. I'm gonna get trolled. I'm gonna get trolled so hard this weekend. How am I supposed to do anything without the Lord of Chaos? Well, it was a good run. Nice, quick. Why didn't they freaking remove this stuff? Oh my god, I've already lost. I'm down to 6 people. Wow. Let's go ahead and just finish them off. This is bad. Yeah, late winter? Alright, who's gonna die next? Who's gonna die next? Because they don't want to build anything. Because there's where the gatherer's hut is set. Now let's see who dies next of starvation. You know, if you guys would just pick this crap up. Let me click on Health down to 3. Finding food. It's finding food. I have no food. I died. Okay, that's 2 more. You got firewood. No food though. Yep. Wonder how long till the last 4 go. Put them all as laborers so they freaking build what they need to build, but yeah, this place is done. Yeah, we're gonna reload this and do it another way, because obviously that wasn't the right way to do it. I knew I should have done a gatherer's hut in the beginning, but like a derp, I freaking put the other thing. Yeah, good game. That was quick. I was super quick. Yeah, that was like I didn't see it. What in the world? Is that all your troops coming to invade or going to invade? Oh, you're breaking into the town. Jesus. I'm gonna have to get that tomorrow. That looks like a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that tomorrow. That's now your second army? Jeez. And that I'm gonna put over here. Map already up. And get on the builders. Come on, builders. I got nothing else set. You build those gathering huts. You're working on building a 3rd. Is there like a max amount of armies, or you just keep going until you freaking defeat everybody in the land? Okay, there's gatherers. Alright, come on guys, build that gatherer's hut. Way I can get some people gathering food. For some reason, it feels like the mod did not take. I guess I'm about to find out when I do this. Pepper and cabbage. See, that's not stuff I had to start with last time. Oh. So it's very possible that it is actually working. There's a limit on troops that can be with you, which is based on leadership skill. But no, I got about 100 in the castle and 50 in the city and 70 following. Okay. Get the DLC also. That. Let's see if they continue building. Okay, Gatherer's Hut is going. Sweet. When you get it, so we can do co-op stuff like kick Napoleon. Okay, 3 of 4. 3 of 4. I don't know, that looks a bit different. Or maybe it's just me though. It might just be me actually paying attention to it. Still need to get the DLC myself, but I'll get it when I come back to town. Okay. One home built. Well, they're clearing. I just hope we can get this stuff going. Okay. So they're all doing that. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and raise this up. Just because I don't want to have to worry about it later. Yeah, there's a lot of games I'm gonna get tomorrow. I've been trying to keep like a list. Yeah. Let's see. That needs that. Okay. So they're building that. Get houses going. Got the gatherers huts going. Okay. Put that down. Then I got more laborers. Need to get foresters. Reserve logs low. Yep. I figured that was gonna happen. I don't remember which way I put the road for them. I'll put that there. There. Much room for this thing to work over here, but I'll put it down here. You know what? I'm gonna put a hunting cabin down here. Face it that way. I want to get Industry Giants 3 game. Someone linked. Oh, they had linked number 2. I didn't know that was a number 3. Yeah, it did look interesting. Reserve of firewood is low. Gotta point it out, man. Just gotta point it out. Okay, sweet. Got another stuff. But yeah, Warband plus the DLC is awesome. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like that. Build us. Build my minions. Build. Okay, how many people are still needing a home? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jesus. The mod community is great. Yeah, I don't think the Colonial charters took, because, these are all looking just like the other ones. Maybe I'm just, you know, derping. But I mean, it looks just like it was. Let me save it. I'm gonna try, doing something, because I gotta check this. The Forge Awakens, yep, enabled. Oh, I'm such a derp. I'm such a derp. Oh, I'm such a derp. What is it going red for? Flaked with another mod. Oh, Jesus. Wow. Wow. Okay, yup, reload. It's to, like, you know how you get those spots where the hill is, like, just right there in the middle of everything? Well, basically what it does is it's supposed to flatten the terrain. I was wondering why that stuff wasn't working. That's exactly why. Okay, we're gonna reload. There it goes. Let's see if I can load my game in. Or if it's gonna tell me, nope. Oh, he's trying to get ice going. Okay, now it should have that option. Pepper cabbage. It doesn't look like anything's freaking changed, man. I swear. Die Overlord. Might have to generate. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Which really sucks. I didn't want to have to do that. Yeah. I'm gonna try it and see. Oh yeah, look. That. Note some crops. Okay. Okay, there we go. Oh crap, I forgot to, the minigame, I forgot to, set the cooldown on it. 3. Okay. There we go. Now it should be back to normal. Strelotad. Turia. I like the veil on the end of that. Let's see. Oh wow, look at that, look at that. Waterworld? Oh my god. Look at all these options, man. Swamp valleys. Verdant plains. Sand lakes, desert, red desert, waterworld. Lake waters, flat plains, marsh. I'm gonna do swamp valleys. Terrain size. I'm gonna go very large. Swampy. Swampy Tornadoville. You wanna let me put the O in there? And I forgot my delete key still doesn't work. Here we go. Starting condition. Okay. Oh, ooh, well. Whew. There's the weather conditions. Jeez. Very harsh Mediterranean, marine, tropical. No snow, low rain. Very hot and cold. Oh god, no. 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 Let's see. This is gonna be bad. This is gonna be like really bad. Go ahead and generate. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. We're gonna go with that. That seed right there. And we're gonna wait for it to load. Oh, look at that! They changed the loading screen! Rested all your colonial ambitions on your adventure. Your job is to ensure the survival of your country's citizens. Yeah, they're pretty screwed right now. Eroding terrain, uplifting mountains. Ain't no mountain high enough. Carving lakes and rivers, milking the cows, banishing people from their native land. It's like never. Oh, jeez. Finding a place to start. You already lifted up the mountains. Waiting for herbs to grow. Holy crap! This takes a little bit to load. Holy crap! Yeah, the mod is loaded now. It's taking forever to load though. There we go. Oh, look at all this. Warning, build decorator. Menu. Not be selected until all there is. Oh. It's very harsh weather conditions. So, yeah. I'm gonna look through this. Luxuries production. Holy crap, what is all this? Good game, people! Refined resources. Oh, okay, this is all that other stuff. A chopper! Oh, resource production. Ores and minerals. Oh. Oh, and another menu. Bamboo. What? Oh. Oh, okay. So it cuts down and then puts. Okay. Wow. Logging barge collects wood logs or hardwood for the small price of us. Oh my god. Well. Oh my god. Plantation, standard orchard, dense orchard, standard pasture, fenceless, slope conforming, bare pasture, water tower. Wait, I gotta have water? Oh, that sucks. Apiary produces honey as a food item. Be turned into candles. It's edible. Ooh. Hunting blind. Oh, that's neat. That's neat. Alright. Okay, one gatherer's hut there, so that's there. I swear, Adi upon us. Okay, so get that. What the? I just want the profession list. Oh my god. Oh god. What did I get myself into? Holy crap. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. Holy crap, man. Oh. Oh. Oh my god. Ale winch. Is that seriously a title? Oh wow, it is. Wow. Good game, Leroy. My word, that is a lot to take in right there. Holy crap. Oh man. Packer packages various goods for distribution to the construction sites of new advanced buildings. Works at the building supplier, homeware supplier. Presser, vegetable oil or seed oil. There's like so much, man. Yeah, this is like actually running a freaking colonial town. Holy crap. My word, man. Amount of stored materials, medicine, dry goods, luxuries, stored food, fuel, logs, iron, stone, tools, clothes. Oh my god, man. Oh, where do I want to begin? Oh, what the? Meat locker, root silk. God. Grain silo. Ah, there's so many like specialized buildings. Oh my god, there's special stockpiles. Wood stockpile, fuel stockpile, stone stockpile, iron stockpile. Yeah, there. Wow. And there's different trade suppliers? Holy crap. Wow. Yeah, pretty much. Dwarf Fortress meets newer graphics. Uh. Them to go out and build these places. If we get these places built, don't have food supply coming in. I think I was wondering about because it said something about water. So, what's that about? I don't know. It might just be. It might just be something to go along with the. What do you call it? Performs military duties in front line and forward positions. Yeah, so I don't know. I didn't think there was combat in this. Sailors? Sailor embarks on dangerous voyages upon the high seas, procuring the bounty the ocean has to offer. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Oh man. I don't know why I keep closing that freaking thing, man. I don't want horizontal scrolling. There we go. Come on, you guys. Finish doing the gathering hut. Like, come on, man. Okay, you guys did finally. Huh. Okay. Trying to get the team together. Why are you doing that to me? Why? There we go. Let's see, got the stockpile. So they're gonna start gathering food now. Don't ask me. Probably have them clearing stuff. Oh, sweet, collect stone and iron ore. That works out. That's a lot of stone and iron ore. Holy crap. Well, it started me in like this freaking thing here. Oh, so you can actually have them collect wild foods. That's actually pretty cool. So, I mean, it looks like there's some good things in this. Wow, is that heist still not gone off? Oh, okay. That's why. It hasn't been time yet. Back off! That's all solar or nothing. Alright, Hack Solo. You guys gathering? Yeah, looks like you are. Alright, I need to build. Holy crap, hold the phone. Log cabin, wooden house, salt box house, fire bundler. So someone who only does firewood. Yeah, pretty much. Country house, large residence. Oh wow. This colonial houses, row houses. I need 55 stone for that. Oh yeah, wow. Yeah, it looks like you guys are, holy crap. Only put 3 people in there. Oh wow, that really is a tiny shack. Holy crap. Getting a row of tiny shacks, man. Alright. Oh, what a dirty hacker. What a dirty, dirty hacker. You're a dirty hacker. Freaking hack solo. Swear. Swear to Javis, man. Holy crap. How many people does that take to build? What, 3, 2, 3. Okay, so it takes 3 people. Oh, we need small people. Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, no problem. Had you not, I would have gotten stabbed. Yeah, sure. Just love taking the stab for my comrades. Just love bleeding out all over the floor. Just love it, man. Medic! Okay, we got one place going. Now, if only I could get them to start working on the other. Plenty of stone there. Love shacks, pretty much. I got 12 people and 6 kids. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 3, that's 21. Yeah, that should be fun. Look at those deer! Oh yeah, they're gonna be packed in there. Oh wow, there's only supposed to be 3 in the tiny shacks. That's it. They're only supposed to put 3 in there. They were like, bam, 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 let's have some kids. Bam, bam. Don't worry, people, your homes are coming soon. Then again, I guess that makes up for that because there's only 2 people in that. That one's got 3. I just gotta get them to build the other ones. That is 64%. Iron ore. Oh crap! I gotta make a giant shack. Yeah. This sucks. Metalworking. 45 stone, 25 of whatever that is. Ugh. This sucks. This sucks. This sucks. This sucks. Yeah, they could just tear it all down and make a love shack. That'd be nice. One giant love shack. You notice how they made it like the frame up underneath where the shadow is? It's like boop. It's like pushed back. Wow, they built that one before that one. And now are you just gonna build this one before this one? I mean, this would be the smart move. You know, I'm just saying. Got people cold. Right, get indoors. Food is okay at the moment. Everybody got a house. Looks like everybody's got a house. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, it's already got the one thing removed. Sweet. So I just need to build that. You know? Reserve of firewood is low. I understand. Firewood low. We're gonna pause it. Logging. Nope. Woodcutter, chopper. Slam these guys together. Bam! Okay, so it's got 3 things that need to be removed. Okay, you're gathering food. You got the iron ore. Come on. Yay, you're starting to build. You guys are awesome. It does seem like everything's off by a little bit. Okay, they're taking their sweet time getting that stuff going. I understand you're cold. You know, I'm sorry, but things happen. Reserve of logs is low. Lovely. Resource production. Greens. Actual, this thing. There is selected to cut down trees and plant new seed. Exclusively plants new trees. Better. This on the back side here. Okay. There we go. Wow, dirty hacker. I need to check this thing. I didn't amp this thing up, did I? No? That's weird. Yeah, I don't understand. I probably should adjust that so it's not so crazy. Okay. Oops. Oops. Yeah, I don't know how you managed to keep hacking your way through there. Come on, Pippa. I know we can't make the logs. Got 8 more logs. We can build a small iron smelter. Yeah, there we go. Ah, crap, I'm gonna have to actually have them cut down some trees. Yeah, you should have bet Max. Yeah, that you should have, sir, that you should have. Four logs. Why do I keep closing this? 9. Wait, they are building for me. Okay, sweet. So they're building the iron smelter. Next will be this. Yeah, because I have them set to cut all these freaking trees down. Yeah, people are running out of firewood. Holy crap. Okay, blacksmith. Okay, so that's what that is. Alright, so he's got somebody. Bootlegger. Ah. Looky. Iron ore plus furnace fuel. Which I need that guy in order to be able to have furnace fuel. Set him to 1,000. Set this to 1,000. Reserve of logs is low. Well, at least it's not food yet. The way I look at it. At least it's not food yet. The Forester's Lodge yet. Looks like they're getting so close. Okay, they just need some more logs. Take the logs. Let's go. Almost there. Come on. Come on, lucky people. So you put the logs out there. Hey, what's up, Vanillo? How you doing today? Oh, finally they started building it. There's so much to this freaking mod. I don't even know like how late her game is gonna be, because I mean it's just absolutely crazy. Is that did you do another heist? No, you didn't do another heist. Okay. Oh, you did a heist. I was like, what in the world? Ah, I knew it was about time. Let's see. Let's see if we can get it going. Okay, so he needs firewood from there, but these people also need firewood. Oh, it's gonna be bad. But, how you doing today, Benny? Hopefully your day is going good. Now I need foresters. Jesus. Where's Forester? Forester. Start with 2 foresters. I'm gonna have them just cut for now. I'm gonna set the limit up to 1,000. I don't want to close that window out again. What's my pop look like? I'm at 22. Oh, so really, the end of these shacks. Boop. Okay. I haven't even put in roads. Red brick road. Oh my god. Country road would fall. Flattening aesthetic plaza pieces. Dirt road. Okay, we're gonna put a dirt road down to here. Gonna put one in front of there. That way they move a little bit faster. Nice 501. What a dick. What a dick. Remind me of that one guy. Oh yeah, Bastion. Go eat a bag of dicks, Bastion. Go. Oh wow, that's getting full. So let's do some iron yet, because I'm still at 40. guys are still cutting down trees. Cutting. Get any new people? I got 4. Okay, foresters. Got 3. Storage is near capacity. I'll let a bag of dukes as soon as you eat this plate of salty balls. Oh ho ho ho! That guy. Oh god. Oh hell no! Hell no! Hell no! I swear to God, you have done something to my bot. What did you do to my bot? What did you pay him off with? I swear to God, you have got to have paid off my bot. I mean, you're just wrecking it. Not fair. Not fair at all, man. Really? 60K. Oh yeah, it was a 1. Let's see. Right, that one can only. Ugh. Come on, produce some more iron. I don't understand it. Why is he not producing iron? No, but later on, like for other events and stuff, there's ways you can use the currency in the bot. I just haven't ever delved into it. Let me see here. Dang, my food's already getting down low. Holy crap, man. I still haven't cleared out a spot good enough for me. I need a spot to farm on. Well, I'm gonna go Mountain Blade. Let me see if I got the list. RimWorld, and then that Industry Giants too. I was thinking about getting. So it's like a couple of different games. So Industry Giants, RimWorld, and Mountain Blade. No, that's July. July it comes on Steam. I'll probably just end up getting it standalone. But then again, I might wait because it's only 2 weeks. No, it's not going to be on sale because it's not going to be till the 15th of July. Once 15th of July hits, then game's almost $30. Really? I didn't think it was that much. RimWorld. Oh wow, it is $30. Holy crap! Yeah, maybe I'll wait. I'll probably wait then 2 weeks until it freaking goes on Steam. Because if I'm gonna pay $30 either way, I mean, I might as well have it on Steam. But that way, at least it's tied to my account. Wait till the holiday sale. Yeah, I might. I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening. For it being out since November of 2013. Wow. Yeah, that's like Factorio. Factorio's been out forever, but they've actually done the updates and all like that. I just haven't seen what their latest updates have been. That's the only thing. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll see. Boom, boom. Oh, did I seriously almost skip? Yes, I did seriously almost skip. Yeah, the freaking houses and the stuff underneath, it's like way off. That looks like food right there. I'm gonna have a plant now. Cleared it out a little bit. Flattens the terrain. Oh. Flatten the terrain. Water and holes come up, mountains come down. Reserve logs low. Yeah, I understand that. Don't I have a forester? Yeah, I got a forester lodge right there. Actually, I have 2 forester lodge. I just need to get the jobs back up. Okay. How many foresters do I have? There. Now that should be settled. I don't know why I keep closing that. Yeah, I need to do something with the screen here. So, 0.13 factorial will, from the looks of it, have another big graphics update. Let's see if this works in reverse. Worked for you. You monster. Let's see what this ends up doing. If I can actually flatten that right there. Get any set, get these trees all removed up here. Yeah, I want to see how this flattened terrain tool works. Oh, okay. Let me open it up so I can look at it later. Graphics reports. Because I'm wondering if they do like terraform. Wow. Oh wow. So that's what they do. I was wondering about that. Well then. Crop field, plantation, non-food. Nope. Okay, we are going to lettuce. Okay, they still gotta remove the trees and stuff on there, which that is a little freaking plant. I gotta get farmers. Crap. There's farmers. Where, oh where is farmers? It's all silk farmer. Dear Lord. Fisherman, fire bundler, forester. There was hunter with vendor, trader, itinerary, teacher, tailor. Dairy worker, cure, carver, butcher, bootlegger, potter, preservist, presser. Holy crap. Out of wood. Ah, it's freaking blind. I'm freaking blind. I'm freaking blind as hell. Wow. Well then. I'm blind. Holy crap. It's more warm and comfortable than a wood house. Cheaper than a stone house. So that's 3 right there. One there. Yep. But that can come on there. Yeah, apparently my people aren't reproducing because they have nowhere to live, as far as like bigger places. Yeah. And close out the job thing. Okay. One of three, one of three. Oh jeez. That a wood stockpile. A stockpile. Here. Ah, 2 things gotta get removed. For the sort of logs. Okay, sweet. So once they finally do this, then I can get some stuff going there. Finally lost. Yeah, he finally did. Alas, we all knew it was gonna happen one day. Prosperous! Oh, I don't have anybody extra to go in there. Time to try your luck again, Toaster? Sucks because I have nobody to work these. It's like crap. What's my firewood look like? You thought I was gonna do 401, but I did 402. What's my firewood look like? 177. Oh, okay, so that's what that is. Man, my food is going low. Super, super low. Okay, what do we gotta do here? I got houses. Jeez. I got firewood there. Yep, another stack is over there. Good. Good, good, good. Now I can move it all. Move, what's something else there? What does that say? Reserve of food is low? Yeah, I understand the real food is kind of low right now. Where is food? No, it just turned back to winter. It's already went from winter to, what do you call it? Daylight or summer, and then back to raw food gathering, hunting blind. Oh, what does that require? What is that? What is that symbol right there? I think I figured out the secret. Okay. Let's see here. Oh wow. Clearly I didn't have shadow meld in my hotbar. Obviously not. Alright, I'm gonna go use the bathroom. I'll be right back. But I will!
Oh, how I miss the days we'd get carried away, but you hadn't
Okay. Well, I'm surprised. I figured you were going to go ahead and try getting some ninja heist then. Okay, I got that set. I just need actual people. Me. And I will set those to farmers. Get the food supply back up. You retired from that life? Jeez. That's what they all say. That's what they all say. Oh, it's negative 11? Holy crap. No wonder it was talking about freaking harsh weather conditions. I gotta figure out what that one material is. Was it raw food? Yeah, whatever that is. I don't know what that freaking material is. I'm gonna have to look up on the wiki. The wiki. Hunting blind. No. Okay. Why does it say hunting lodge? It says hunting blind in the thing. Raw and gathered foods. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Let's try a different search here. Search the wiki. Hunting. Do all results. Jeez. Hunting blind. There we go. 20 reeds. Get reeds from. Where do you get reeds from? Reeds are a tall grass-like plant found on the shores of Lake Dock. Reed Farm are gathered by the shore house. Oh crap. So I gotta actually build another structure in order to get those. Dock Reed Farm. Resource production. Sand and clay can be dug up. Ah, crap. Oh. Now it's set. Ugh. Current season and number of years. Jeez. Winter of season 3. Man, you guys, Bruce and Kidjat or what? Jeez. Have a single in there. Got a gather and a kid in there. Come on, people! Make babies! Okay, now I need... I don't know why I keep closing this out. You should be good. Ow! 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 Kappa! 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 Swear to God. What a troll. What a troll. Okay, so that's gonna produce fish. Bum, 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 bum. I'm gonna have to get some more farmers. Builders are doing it. Collect reeds. I don't know what that's for, but shoreman. Okay, so that's what a shoreman is for. What you talking about, Willis? Herbs, onions, roots. Holy crap, my freaking food supply. Early spring and it's still snowing. 9 food. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Even with all those gathering huts. End of days. Yep. End of days is upon us. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, because this is just like super harsh. Oh man. Let's see. Store materials. Food refining. Yeah. Oh well, I got up to 40 something, but freaking snow won't go away. Oh wait, snow's going away. What are the builders working on? That's there, that's there. What the heck are the builders working on? I don't remember having anything for them to do. What a dirty hacker. That's already done. That's already done. I don't have anything else for them to build. I don't think I have anything else set for them to build. There's a gatherer's hut. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't set anything for them to build up, but apparently they're building something. Visiting the herbalist? I don't have an herbalist. Why is this guy not working? I mean, not doing anything with the iron at all. Oh, is that what they were? I don't remember. Oh, I remember now. That explains it. That explains it. Da, da, da. I gotta get some tools. Resource refinery, smelting tools, smelting house, metalsmith. Let's try this. I mean, I'm gonna try to keep going. If I die, then I die, and I'll have to start over. It's one of those things. Previous season, 235. And this one is 179. This one didn't produce anything. Oh no, that's producing roots. It's raspberries. Why would she? Ah, I'm seeing now the difference between 2 and 3. Okay, got fishermen going. And my people are about to starve to death. Harvest! You guys need a harvest. Let's harvest it. That way we don't have people starving. Holy crap, we're so screwed. We're so screwed. Foresters. Shoot down to 3. Oh god. Yep. Yep, food is gone. Well, at least I produced a little bit more, it looks like. Yeah. Oh, I actually got a bunch of raspberries. Yay! Probably not gonna survive either way. Oh, sweet, so it takes iron over that. Awesome. You gotta keep pushing your luck, and you're gonna just get stabbed by the robot overlord. He's going to enslave you. You're going to be enslaved. And I'm going to laugh. I don't care. Yeah, but you're gonna lose your fingers, man. That's what it means by digits. Did I not produce anything yet? Okay, collect reeds. I thought that said catch ninjas. Don't use it for much. Frogs. Why do I need fingers? Well, I don't know. Oh god. Yeah, we're about to starve to death. Prepare for starvation! gatherers. I'm cranking my gatherers up. Prepare the anus region for lack of food. Yeah, pretty much. You're about to starve, people. I mean, my gatherers are like working, trying to get freaking stuff done, but holy crap. As soon as that finishes building, then I'm taking one of them and turning them into a blacksmith. Just wait. Come on, where's my 100? Give me my 100! Give me my 100! Rough tools. Yeah, let's do that. I gotta set a limit on the tools. Are they still gathering like resources and stuff for me? Got them clearing out. Okay, it looks like they all freaking cleared it out finally. That freaking food, man. Forget every last little bit up here. Yeah, if I die on this one, then I'm going to start over with less. I told you it was happening soon. Oh crap, now my firewood's low. Oh Jesus. I don't care though. I don't care though. I don't care. I may have only a thumb left, but I don't care. Just think it's easier to punch somebody. I mean, you don't have to worry about breaking any fingers if you don't have any. They're gone. Frog legs? Nope. Keep betting leet till I run out of nuts. Here's some tools. Oh, now everybody's getting cold. Cause he's having to do the karate chop in order to get the firewood. I'll have to butt. Oh no, cause I got. Oh crap, man. I got 4 fields, so it's gonna be 1 at each of them. I got like no spare people. That's like one thing that sucks. Where is it? Something else I need to build. That I can't seem to think of building. Or I can't. Wait. Civic buildings, worship and remembrance, health and healing. Yep, schoolhouse. But I don't think I have any builders. That's one thing that sucks. Oh no, I got 1 builder. Sweet. I has enough builders! He finally went, yeah, he's making tools, but they're just getting taken left and right. Oh, my people are gonna die. I need an herbalist. Where is an herbalist? Under those. Guys are all now on a food mission. That's your official duty now. All gonna start gathering wild food. I gotta do something or they're gonna starve to death. What happened here? Oh, okay. It's like, whoop. He's supposed to be gathering food, but doesn't look like it. Man, even with all my gatherers like this slamming it out, they're still not able to keep up. Oh yeah, still don't have a teacher for all the kids. Dang. How many students? 0 students. Davis. And he is out of firewood, right? Yep. And there's Autumn. You guys better start hurrying. 6 farmers and you guys can't frickin' hurry up. Ouch. Got people who are cold. There's Autumn. Yeah, we're definitely not surviving another winter. Yeah, because there goes 100 food right there. Bloop. Oh, then back up to 22. Your job as a farmer. Shoreman. You got nothing in your inventory. Oh, good game, Leroy. Yeah, shit, my people are dying. Oh, because you lost that one. You're back down. Oh, that sucks. You're back down to low. 16k. That sucks. How many did you lose? I know you lost the one. $900. Jeez. $9.29. 0 kids want to be students, probably. Well, if that's the case, then teacher, you're going back to being a laborer. At least until, figure this out. Jeez. Got a couple people, go! Man, I'm trying with my food supply, but I just, yeah, I don't know. Well, my food is seemingly going back up. Seemingly. Ah, derp. That was a lovely derp I did. Ah, well. Yeah, that's good. Alright, looks like food's finally going up. How many laborers? Okay, food's finally going up because I got everybody clearing the land. That's the only reason I'm surviving right now. Because I got them all gathering the food. Trying to survive. Bad spring. These freaking fields better like produce food like it ain't nobody's business. Boom, boom, boom. reproduction, all these people. Oh God, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Where are you? I should have known. Where is it? Is that it? Yep. Look at it, way over here. Nah, it's cool. You can stay over there, man. You don't have to go to my town. Not like it's gonna live much longer anyway. The tornado is like stuck over here. I don't know if that's part of the mod or what, but it's stuck. Yeah, but that's like, that's climate. The disasters, I think, are a whole different thing. But yeah, the tornado's gone. It's not there anymore. Yeah. Tornado's already gone. It bugged out. So, yeah. Bum, 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 bum. Wish I could zoom out even further. But I can't. The freaking game froze up for a second. Storehouse. Okay, got a bunch of rough tools. That's good. Just gotta get this guy. Yeah, this guy still hasn't even produced any iron. Yet to produce any. But I guess it's because of all the firewood getting taken. So I can't really do anything, but... So this is the highest aerial view you get. Yeah, I guess so. Why are you guys doing this? Really need more foresters. Yeah, it does. It adds a whole new level to it. That it definitely does. And now I need 5 of those species. Oh my word. Is this hunter even producing any food? I mean... Okay. How is a hunting blind? It's 100 something fish. Okay, so it is producing something. That these two only. Set two. Set there. So I have 2 and 2. So. Whew. Oh man. I gotta get them gathering wild food again. That's not it. Right here. Ah, crap. Wow, there's just still that much food up here. Okay, I just think they don't, they haven't got to it yet. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to set those regular. Blacksmith, 71 tools. What, blacksmith? I'll shut you guys down. Cause I need food more than anything. Oh crap, what is that? Auto save. Oh boy. Come on, guys, come on! Get the food or you're all gonna starve! I understand the firewood is low. The food is low as well. You guys working at holy crap. Okay, I got 44. Wonder how long that's gonna last. Oh, up to 47, 63, 66. Oh, down to 19. 35. Yeah, this is like way more than what I expected. Oh boy. Reserve firewood. Reserve firewood. Thought it was like food or something. Jeez, man. Okay. The hut cannot be placed here. Oh, I swear. Yeah, there goes the food. What am I at? I was about to say, you guys better start harvesting. 'Cause if not, the winter's gonna take it. Harvest! 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 Whew. What is low? The reserve of food is low? Yes, I understand the food is low. What you gonna do with no mod in here? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Boom, boom, boom. What's up, Acer? I see you. He checks periodically. Yeah, I mean, I can see when people come in and out. I just don't say anything. I just wait. I wait till they say something because I don't want to be talking to them, and then they're like, "Hey, I'm back. I had to go use the bathroom," and it's like, well, "That's awkward." We just had a whole conversation, and you weren't even here. Is my mic? No, my mic's muted. I said, "Hey, Acer." I know when anybody comes in. How you doing today, Zarek? Yeah, if you ever see me like looking over like that, that's when I'm checking like OBS and all, and that's when I can see who's in and out. Not bad paying bills. Oh yeah, I gotta do that tomorrow. I gotta get the money out for my daughter's fundraiser stuff she's got going on. What's nice is it's a fundraiser that gets me a discount card for a bunch of places, including Papa John's. So yeah, she's doing the cheerleading. So she's got that like raffle for the little discount cards. Bills are definitely a killer. I think like this week's actually. Oh, this is like my low week, I guess is what you'd say. So I have more money. We just had to leave him behind. They were doing that when we went to high school in Florida. Yeah. Yeah, she's doing like, I don't know what you call it. Like, I don't even remember, Pee-wee, I guess is what it would be called. It's like something like that. It's not like for a school itself, but, it's just like a, you know, a group that does, yeah, like a starter league, yeah. Woohoo! My food's back up! Now I just gotta get this guy cutting a lot of firewood. Where? I got him like gathering the entire map because I got it on harshest weather conditions. So it yeah, like right now it's 1 degrees. Earlier it was like -11. Oh, you were teaching another streamer earlier? Well, I'm doing the Colonial charters. I said I was going to do it and try it. And, it's... Oh, man. When I opened up, this right here... Let's see. Was this the one full on scrolling? No, that's not it. It was this one. When I looked at that, I was like... And instantly, Toaster, he's like, "Yep, Dwarf Fortress." Because that's basically what it is. Made him avoid starvation. Like right now, I have my, like, all my extra people are scouring just about the entire map. Everywhere I could get them to, I'm trying to get them. I just haven't had them cross the river or anything yet. But I got upset to, like, try to get all this wild food. So I have like a bunch of gathering stations, but it's like not doing anything as far as food goes. And I can't seem to have enough population. No. No, it doesn't help with the very harsh. Because it's like cut my food stuff. Like it'll be like one time it was early autumn and snow was already on the ground. Nope. I was already wondering if I was even gonna make it through this next winter. But I've already survived 6. So I mean, to get to my other one I gotta go through like 50 more winters. I mean I don't know. I might make it, I might not. I gotta get another blacksmith. Crap. This one, where is it? Right here, the small iron smelter. He has not done a thing, but I don't know if that's because of the woodcutter. I don't know if I need to build another woodcutter or what, but I need more foresters too. No, that. Crap. I'm trying to figure out where everything is at. It's a lot different than the other stuff. Sit. Lumber construction, crafting and artisans, woodcutter. There we go. There we go. Ah, I forgot I did that. Derp. 30 years, your people will suffer a calamity. Prophecy has been announced. No, not the prophecy. I did have a tornado come in, and it sat like right over on this edge here. Can't remember where it was. Somewhere in here. I think it was like right over on the edge. It just sat there spinning. Like didn't go anywhere. It sat there spinning, and then it just left. It didn't destroy any of my land. I was like, yay! So I thought my people were gonna be gone by then. I mean, if that would have hit, I would have been screwed. Like, definitely screwed on that one. Would have been all over. Okay, but I got food going. I need to get 2 builders. Alright, come on, guys. Build another one. Oh, those logs. My firewood going. As soon as I get it, it's gone. That's what it is. It's late winter. How many fields do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I do 2 per. Okay, that should be good. 101. Yeah, the one tornado already came through. But it was like, yep, screw this. This place is already going to shit. We are not coming in there. I am not getting myself dirty in that place. Yeah, when a tornado just, you know, says, peace out, I'm done, I'm not even coming there, that's a bad sign. It really is. It really is a bad sign. Yay, everything's turning green again! Oh yeah, I got that perfectly, like, right on the edge. Okay. Foresters, that's one thing I need. Okay, I got 2. Oh, that's one issue. Crap. I'm gonna have to do something here. Trying to think of how I'm gonna do this. Previous scene is in 609 firewood. Yeah, I gotta get another one. And I gotta get my woodcutters to actually do something. Okay, what kind of food is this guy? Only 130. What are these guys producing? 159. Okay, I think I'm going to have to, yeah, I'm gonna have to pause this place. That's just not working out. Not right yet. Come on, get the woodcutter built. Okay, that's 3. What is the other? Oh, I have the, crap, I forgot about these. The gathering huts. Somewhere around in here. I know I'm close. Oh my god, where did I set it to build? Oh, this sucks. I know it's somewhere in here that I set it to build. Just don't remember where. Well, that sucks. Oh. You're a monster. Freaking heck solo, I swear. You freaking monster. Oh my god, you're just getting owned by the freaking bots. Like, yeah, you're down 3K, holy crap. That sucks. Oh wow, holy crap. Yeah, told you I wasn't gonna stop. Don't stop, believe it. You gotta do the dance though. And you gotta say don't stop, you gotta sing it. Are they finally building this place? Please don't ruin music. Tell me what your favorite song is and I'll promise I won't sing it for you. I'll murder it. That's exactly what I will do. I will murder that song. You won't be able to even pronounce. Oh yeah, this guy's about to die. Yeah, this place is pooped. This place is like Russian folk metal band. Oh. Yeah, well, I could try. I could try to pronounce it. Probably won't even be able to pronounce the words, but hey, I'll try. Wow, this sucks. I need a tailor. Man, there's like so much. Oh. Otter will. Oh. You know what my favorite song is? The Blues Clues theme? Yeah. Is that like your real favorite, or is that just your favorite because you've heard it like 50 times a day? People are dying. I need a herbalist. This is bad. I don't need artisans. Where is the herby people? Please sing it. I don't remember the song. I don't sing songs. I murder them. I can't remember where the what do you call it? The herb people. The doctor, not the doctor. Fabrics and fibers. Nope. All that. but food refining, fields, vegetable tannery. Huh. I don't know where to find the perks though. I don't figure they'd be under luxuries. Gotta check anyway. Bundling shed, shopper. Two. Oh, I cannot find it. Oh, that's because it's right there. Jeez. Cheese and rice, man. Cheese and rice. So that's set to build. Logs, stones. Getting in late summer, and these fields are not looking very good. The yield on it is like super low. Alright, how many laborers? I got 2 laborers. Actual iron is not going up at all. That's the thing. 3 rough tools. Got duck meat, wild seeds. Okay, so they're clear stuff now. Cruise. Please hurry up. Please hurry up. Please. Please, I don't want anybody to die. Come on. Man, I figured they would have already gathered the stone and stuff by now. Early autumn. It could snow at any time. There's rain. Oh, wow. So, oh, that's awesome because I cleared a bunch of stuff. That's awesome. Oh, you're gonna do a heist? You gonna do a heist there, sir? Herbalist. Okay, get at least 1 herbalist in there. That way they can do their thing. Really need a teacher. Okay, do need a woodcutter. Yeah, we do need. You're definitely gonna need firewood and tons of it. Oh wow, look at food. Holy crap. My food supply is going up. It's about time my food started going up. Jeez. I gotta get a tailor in here. Where is that at? Fiber. Okay. gathered all that. Okay, I'm gonna have him clear out that. Oh, there's somewhere here. Is there any along on here? A little bit, it looks like. Holy crap. I don't know. We'll see. Please. I know, what is it, Saturday I'm supposed to do Reign of Kings. Like in the morning. Or not in the morning, but my early stream. I'm gonna do Reign of Kings, at noon. Be doing that with August, because he wants to play something, so we'll probably be doing that. Yeah, Reign of Kings, it's at, oh, I'm at my herb limit. Oops. What a dirty hacker. You forgot to change. Derp, derp. Derp. Yeah. Yeah, so that's like even more like, why are you messing up there, Toaster? Sweet. Hide coat, leather. Oh. I totally need regular hunters. Crap. Food. What is low? Okay. Wood supply is low. Alright, sweet, so they're doing all that good stuff. Ooh. How many forcers do I have? On up, line up. So 2, I need to get up to where I got 3 per. Maybe 6. I need to get up to 6. Which, oh wow, now it's spring. That totally makes sense. Woodcutter, yeah. Can't do anything about those. I almost feel like I'm missing people. 9, 12, 21, 2. That's 9. Because at 18. Then the 2. It's 20. 7. 37. Okay, maybe I'm not. Let's see. So is your stuff the green? Is that what that is? Oh, you're okay. You're green. Okay. Oh wow. So you've pretty much taken over the entire area. You know, you got a couple of big places to take over, but wow. Yeah, you've pretty much taken over everything. Crap. Oh, the map is big. Yeah, I mean, it looks big. That's not even all of the map. Oh crap. That's crazy. Still through factions you can't see. Let me see. I'm gonna go use the bathroom real quick. Oh, yeah. I'll be right back. Your chat Oh, God. Yep. She went to poo-poo. Disconnect, connect. Invalid token. I swear to God. Reset, generate. Okay. Yeah, because it was just fine earlier. I thought maybe they had fixed it, but apparently not. Okay, now it should be working. Boop-boo. Yeah, now it should be working good. Shouldn't have any issues. Shouldn't, but we'll see. What's my farmers look like? It's raining! Okay, gatherer's hut. Yeah, I'm trying to get them to build that. They got a road out there. Oh, that's the map for Warband. Holy crap! Wow. Oh wow, and you're just in that one. Oh wow. That sucks. Holy crap. Oi! What's up, Kronos? How you doing, man? I am getting wrecked at this game. Oh, I need more laborers. Like, I need more population, but I can't sustain the population I have now. +30 hour. Oh, wow. Well, I mean, you'll take them out soon enough. Beam chat is being doubled. Lovely. Lovely beam chat. The bane of my existence. Oh, you got Ark? Oh, sweet, man. I know sometime here in the near future I'm going to end up playing that again. I just want to find a decent place to play it, because last time it was horrible. Last time we ended up, me and my buddy August, we had got this place, got it all built up, made friends with the guys across the way who had this huge base, and then this clan came in and just wiped everybody out. And the server died because there was nobody else that wanted to play on it. Well, they just took back another of their city-states tonight, trying to deal with other wars. So Mountain Blade seems like it plays almost like, well, I should say Total War Warhammer. From what I saw, it plays similar, except, you know, with Total War Warhammer, you can't, you don't go down to like the, you know, almost first person. Because you can control the units to an extent, and you can and do. Oh wow. In about 4 hours of gameplay in single player, I made a tiny thatch hut and tamed a parasaur. You can... Yeah, I know about that. Yeah, because you showed me the image of where you were down there. I remember that. I'm just saying in Total War Warhammer, that you can't get like fully down there. Like you can control like the catapults and stuff like that and set their targets, but you can't actually like get down and say, all right, I'm gonna be this guy. But yeah, Kronos, when I first got it, my daughter, she sat in my lap while I tried to play single player. It didn't want to record very well, but so I ended up just playing it offline, and she loved it. She liked me killing the dodo birds for some odd reason. I don't know why, but she just loved me killing the dodo birds. So she got some kind of weird enjoyment out of me killing dodo birds. I don't know why, but she did. down all these trees. Have a little bit of view room here. Mountain Blade is a beast. Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about getting it. I just haven't ended up getting it. 20 to 40 FPS. Yeah, see, I was playing the Ark single player, and when they first had it going, there was like this real big bug because it was like running like crap. Let's see, on high I was getting in the teens, and that was with two 980s. I had to set it all the way. I had to like really play with my settings in order to get 30 FPS. It was it was a fun little game to play a game. But I mean, now I'm pretty sure it's been updated in Q&A. Yeah, but see, if I do a Q&A, then I'll end up streaming it whenever you leave, you know, and that won't be any fun. Yeah, I'm on Discord if you want to get on. I gotta make sure I got this set right. Link to MP when I get back. Okay, okay, that is set right. Okay. I had to make sure that was set right. Boo, boo. Wow, I actually have them clear something and they're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. So surprising. Hey, what's up, Blindham? No, still here. Collect all this wild food or whatever it is here. Late autumn chases. Okay, so that's all getting cleared out of the way so I can actually build some more houses. Try to expand. Are you muted? Hold on. Yeah, you're supposed to be, yeah, you shouldn't be muted. I don't know why it's... I don't know why it muted you.
What's up, stream?
Okay, there we go.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you all right. Let me see something. I'm gonna put you in my ears, not like physically put you in my ears, so that way I can hear you better and everyone else can hear you. Because I think right now I got it low. I set that to. Okay, let me, alright, go ahead and say something. Is it really not going to pick you up? I don't think it's picking you up. Huh. Yeah, they should be able to hear you just fine. That's so strange. But apparently it's not going to let me do that. Well. Yeah, I'll have to mess with it. How you doing tonight, Blindham? Just in from mowing. Holy crap. Well, that's, that's always a fun thing to do. Yeah, I don't know why it's not, it's supposed to take my, what do you call it, my default. It's supposed to automatically put you out on that. Okay, try saying something.
Saying something.
Yeah, it's putting you back on the thing out there. Dang. Wait, I know what I can do. Ha 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 ha. Pea bread does come out as toast. I forgot I can mess with it in voice meter.
Uh,
Okay. Okay, say something again.
something.
Why is it not outputting to my ears? Oh, now I know why. There we go. Alright, say something.
Something
Wait, you can say something else.
else.
Okay, so you're coming through my mic. Okay, that, I guess that works. Oh, yeah. What's up, Himmlick? How you doing today? Yeah, blind, I'm here. It's... Ugh. Like today, it was like all rainy and humid. Wait, are you playing music or no?
No, I'm not playing any music.
Okay, it's it's the one thing. Okay, yeah, that's gonna be weird. Okay. I'll have to mess with it later. Welcome back, Asersky. Yeah, him like, this is a lot of fun. What's up? I gotta build some more houses. So hopefully I can get these, people, like, super producing new babies and all. I gotta get them, like, you know, freaking working it and twerking it. Rain started pouring literally as I headed across the yard to go in the house. Wow. Yeah, I mean it's been let me see. I want to say since like 2:30, it like rained and rained and rained and rained and rained, and then like I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours ago, it finally quit. Do I have any builders? Yes, I do have builders. I tried to, okay, there it is. Fancy country house. Yeah, I don't have the, materials yet. I gotta get, all the hardwood and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff to learn on this.
So what are you trying to learn about Mountain Blade before you buy it?
I gotta figure out how to get the music to stop, playing in my ear. The game and all, it's still coming through to my okay. Say something now.
Something.
I'm such a derp. I just had to click one button and the music went away. Go to theme sets. Right here. And fourth button from the end. Oh. Ew. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even know about that. Well, that's what I'll be building next. Yeah. Oh, it's under nuts. Yeah. Get it? It's nuts. Yeah, that was a bad joke. Oh, that sucks. One space on either side. Okay. Come back, little builders. I didn't mean it. Bring it back.
So is it just me that you can hear? Or are you the only person that can hear me?
No, whenever you talk, it comes through like as if I'm talking. Ribs, I changed it over to the Blue Engineers because I had been meaning to change it over. So I ended up changing it all over. That's why when you do a heist, it has the robot overlord stuff.
Yeah, he didn't change it. I told him to change it. He would have left it ribs.
Yeah.
Lazy bastard.
You can queue up all 3 floors at the same time. Dude.
No, but Mountain Blade is pretty cool because all the NPC factions do their own damn thing. What the hell are you building?
It's a modular home. Oh, now I see. Now I see. That is neat, man. Oh, that is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, Acer, I'm talking to you, you smelly bastard.
Yeah, it's so sure it's on Discord. Taylor. Okay, so I don't have leather yet, I don't think. I still don't have leather from Hunter. Don't think you have front lines edged up. You have an extra second floor. Oh, do I? Oh, crap. Oh, oops. Oops. Okay. Now it's all good. Now they should build it. Get wrecked. Oh, come on, woodcutters. Jeez. Out of freaking actual wood. Late spring and they haven't even planted the freaking food yet. I mean, come on, guys. Plant the food. Toast to be salty. Okay, Forcer's going up the max. I have to. It's 1:30 a.m. Yeah, I mean, some people just can't sleep. Okay. I don't think you have the road entrance squares for second and third floor. I'll do it now. I thought I did.
Nope, you fucked it up already.
I thought I had it lined up.
Oh, there's a tornado incoming here. Really.
Do what?
There's a tornado coming.
There's not a tornado. I'm looking right at the event log. There's no tornado. Nice try. But yeah, Sersky, I have, let's see, one of the people I work with, he does overnights. He has insomnia, so he doesn't sleep at all. Click on the first floor, then the second floor. Yeah, first floor is right there, and then second floor is right there. I thought I lined it up. You reinstall this CC again. Now after watching me. You probably do worse, man. Probably do a lot worse. So does it need to be up here or right there? Is that where it's supposed to be? Let me see. Let me double check and make sure. Theme sets, modular. That's second floor. Yeah, I got it right. Yeah, I got the second floor lined up. Oh, does it need her? Yeah, because that's how I got it right there. There's the door. Yeah, that's how I got it set to build right there. As far as the second floor goes. Yeah, so that should build right there. It should be able to still get up there. Or my foresters are just like absolutely garbage. Gotta hope not. I was totally confused and was too scared to put buildings down. I didn't know how to start. Yeah, the door's on the side. Like this one, I'm pretty sure I lined this third one up too. Yeah, there's the door. Yeah, I got it lined. I managed to get it lined up. Do better. More than likely, couldn't do any worse than him. But agreeable. Red Ketchup's mod version. The stairs exit the front. Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I was looking around for the what do you call it? The modular buildings like you were talking about. I didn't realize they were actually a part of the pack. Native items. Oh, look at all this stuff. Docks. Oh, wow, look at all this neat stuff. I gotta get some woodcutters going. Farmers are gonna have to drop down. Crank up the builders. Where is that other spot? Oh, you guys are going for the max heist, huh? Oh boy, mistakes. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try, man. Dock stuff's really cool if you have lots of lakes. Unlimited betting. You'll be broke. You're gonna be broke in a day. If that long. Well, it has to have some kind of cap in there, so. Back and forth AFK for a while. Alright, blind him. I can't compete. What is that one command? I think this is it. Yeah, that didn't work. Was that an amount I gotta put in here? Give... I can't remember the command. Let me try it out. Yeah, that didn't work either. I'm totally failing at this. No, you're a mod. You should be able to do all that. Yeah, you should be able to give all that stuff out. I'm trying to find the actual code because I can't, there it is. Documentation. I can't ever freaking remember the code. Where is it? Come on. Yeah, rip. Ah, there it is. I am such a derp. Nuts. Add 50. Okay, that didn't work. Oh, I am like totally derping. We're gonna get this. That's gotta be the command. Points? Oh my god, seriously. I missed one letter. Oh, such derp. Ah, son of a... Oh, I swear to God. Oh, I'm such a derp. I'm gonna get this. Come on. Come on, register. Yeah, the max bet is up. It's not give, it's add. Oh my god. There we go. Got it. Enjoy your nuts. Hope you cherish those nuts. Yeah, now you can do that command. Or you can do it by specific. Instead of plus viewers, you give the username of the person, and then it adds the nuts. Just don't go crazy with it. One. Here's your nut, man. Nuts. No, don't do the plus sign. I don't think it's got the plus sign on there. Yeah, no plus sign on there. It's weird. Viewers, it does that because of okay. Nuts. Okay, why don't you have power to do that? Yeah, you're supposed to have the power to do that because you're a mod. I'll have to figure that out. Alright. We play some Banished. Clearly, I don't just play Banished. I'm so sorry. Sorry, man. I just wish they would hurry up and freaking cut this stuff down. I'm so triggered, bro. Yeah, you get triggered, man. You get triggered. You trigger that trigger, man. You do it. Am I out of stone? I am out of stone. That... Yeah, that's not the right command. Alright, let's see. Black stone and iron ore. Come on, guys. This. Let's add SRSky 1. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It should allow you to. Where did my hunter go? My hunter ran off somewhere. Jeez. What is this? Stored dry goods? Okay, that's what that is. Wow, you really want to lose all of your stuff, don't you? I can't keep firewood. I can't keep actual wood. Jeez Louise. Jeez Louise. Cheers! Cheers and rice, man! Dear God. Rip nuts, yep. You wanted the max gone, the max is gone. Oh my god. You guys going all in. There ain't no damn way I'm going all in. I got too many damn nuts. Go bigger. Don't be a bottom bitch. Damn, I'm a bottom bitch now.
You are the bottom bitch.
I know, that's why I did 2098.
Come on. Be like us. Watch us get doubled and then you barely get shit.
That's
Look,
usually
you
what
finally
happens.
reached 1800 hours exactly. Well, 0.8
Yeah.
after that. but-
1800.8.
Yeah, we are disappointed, Acer. The disappointment has triggered me.
I know. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm gonna go find that TeamSpeak file of you talking as Meatwad and play it through.
I'll
Discord.
do it. I was gonna ask you about that and I forgot.
I think it's on the other hard drive of the other PC, and I don't think I can hook it up.
Oh, is it? Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was wanting to. I was gonna take that audio, and then I was gonna put like a video to it. I was gonna take some time and do that. Just
What's
because
funny
I
is
know it would be
Rain won't even
hilarious.
get you a dowry, but she bought me some new shoes to be nice.
Oh, that is so messed up. I'm still gonna yell at her about that.
Right?
Be like, what the hell, Rain? What the hell?
Well, she treats me like a son. Like, she was like, "Oh, I need to get Zoe school shoes," and I'm like, "No, you don't." She's like, "No, I'm getting them anyway. So you can either tell me what she wants or I'm getting them."
Wow, so she's basically acting like a mom should.
Yeah. Well, my mom doesn't give any shit about
Yeah.
me. So.
Yeah.
She lives like 40 minutes from me. You can tell her off for me if you ever see her. Looks like a toothless trailer park trash.
Jeez. I still have no other.
Man, where is our heist? Oh, here we go. Oh
They are
no.
Still, they didn't play.
Oh,
any.
rip me.
Rip me too. But that's why. Zen, you got no nuts. No nuts. No nuts, sir. No nuts. Them nuts be gone. You shoulda brought them milkshakes. Let's see. Wow. Okay, so they're still trying to build that woodcutter. Fucking sucks. They're taking forever. Giga wrecked. Whoops. Yeah, wrong account. That was the old one. It's like, well, he's got coin. He's got nuts now, but you don't. Did it even add them? Does it show it like adding on yours? Man, that bot is like straight up just cold shouldering you. You got 18 nuts. Yep. You got the cold shoulder. I don't understand though why it's not letting you, because I'll send you in a Discord private message so you get the link. Wow, that cake. Wow, I forgot all about that cake. Oh, there goes that night. Wow.
That was a hell of a...
That was a hell of a cake. Mom, I know what birthday cake I want.
Right? As kids, we all wanted that construction playset cake. that they're like excavating, but now it's like really I want the cake of that woman's ass in a G-string with a tattoo.
Oh, Jesus.
And you took the PG filter off. So
Yeah.
it's not like I'm actively showing the link.
Yeah. That's like what do you call it?
What section is this thing under?
That's like what a clown is in a trailer park.
Oh yeah.
Just throw on the makeup, and then there's your clown.
Oh yeah. Where is the part about?
Toss her home.
Why?
I can't have nuts. Neither can he.
Yeah, I know. He won't tell me a part of this document that he gave me that I'm looking at.
I sent you the document. All you gotta do is search for.
Oh, can I just search it?
You gotta search
From
for
the top?
points.
Where
Yeah,
the
just
hell
search for
is it?
exclamation point points. Yes, I did, but I haven't had enough laborers to do it. Yeah, because you disable this, and then the farmers leave it alone, and all the laborers get it. I just don't have enough of a population yet to have them freaking a Sersky. Not giving that damage.
There we go.
I just haven't had enough laborers to actually take care of it all. Like I'm right now, I'm like low on stone and wood and all that good stuff. Cut back to 2 builders. Yeah, I probably should. I think about it. I didn't realize that. I'm like derping in my head. 2 builders. Oh, it really does not want to give you those points. Yeah, you should be able to because you're modded, so you should be able to give points to everybody. Kill way back on builders and tell laborers to go get the wood. Oh yeah, that's right. I can have them cut down a bunch. It's like all this I need to cut down. Yeah, I forgot because I can't build anything up here. Well, these trees they can't even cut. Oh, I swear to God. Watch that command work. I should have been at like 58,000. Yeah, it didn't work. It's just because my name is highlighted.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't even work for me attempting to do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check the settings and see what it is. Well, I dropped a 1 builder till you get caught up on stone and wood. Let me check. Yeah, actually I should. Thank you for suggesting that. I think my forester... Yep, my forester's good. Late summer, okay. Trying to take 50 nuts from everybody. Yeah, none of those commands are working. I don't know why it's doing that. Protection. Yeah, I don't know what it is, because, I mean, you're set as a mod, so you should be able to...
It says, as I'm looking at the, as it says in the thing, only editors can change. Because if you look at it where it says currency, it shows on the right-hand side who can
Oh,
use it.
because you're not,
Yeah.
I think... Well, it's got to permit the user button. Oh wow, I can actually, because of Better Twitch TV, I can actually set a nickname for you in chat. That is hilarious.
Nice.
Yeah, let me add you real quick. No, you're added as editor. Yeah. So the bot just might be bugged out. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. 107 to be sexy. I swear to God. Okay, no wood there. You going all Zeke on me, man?
Yep. Dude, I was watching Zeke way back in the day. Him and man, way back in the day.
I feel bad because everybody always like picks at him and goes, says stuff about, you know, riding the curtails of man. It's like, come on.
Well, they've been friends as far as I know, well before streaming. Like they went to school
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, it's been a while.
The last
Yeah,
time
like,
I talked to him,
Have you seen the roast of Ezekiel on the Sour Kool-Aid show?
no, I don't watch Sour Kool-Aid.
Well, I watched it just because I saw, you know, that, and because I was looking up Zeke clips, and that happened to pop up. Like, there was so many man versus game jokes in that targeted at him. I was just like, oh my god. Hi, best! Hi, best! Where's my food limit up?
Here we go. I'm back at 40 nuts.
Back to 40 nuts.
I'll get back to where I used to be.
I like turtles.
I haven't talked in Zeke's chat or anything since that incident last year.
Where is the barn? Market building, trade, storage cellar, specialized warehouse. Yay, storage barn!
Now you behave in here, Acer, over the weekend if you happen to show up. I won't be here.
Do what now?
Let's tell the Acer
Oh.
to be good this weekend while I'm gone if he happens to show up.
Yeah, my chat. You're gonna like come back on be here. When are you coming back? Monday?
Sometime Sunday.
Sometime Sunday. So you'll come back Sunday, and you'll come back in here, and like in the stream, it'll just have fire just going, everything burning and on fire.
You'll have dug a foxhole into your couch.
Yeah, I'm like hidden away. Like all you see is like the top of my head. I'm going, what's going on? that freaking smile. I'll be good. You can trust me. I trust you. I don't know why I'm having them collect wild food. I really don't know why. I'll just leave that. I guess I was trying to clear everything out.
No, but speaking of Mountain Blade, the Viking DLC actually has like longboat fights. You can like charge onto another group's longboat and have a fight.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I know the Napoleonic DLC is like supposed to be really good too. But I'm not sure if all the battles are PvE, like co-op, or PvP. I just know it's really active.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably like 99% chance get it tomorrow. I just have to make sure.
Since your radio
bills.
is real, you might as well. I haven't even put an hour into Vanish yet, because I got Mountain Blade like a couple days after.
Yeah.
It went on sale, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, you know how many games I have because I freaking I bought it and then something else that I wanted went on sale. So then I played the other thing that went on sale, and then I completely forgot about the other game. That's the majority of my Steam library.
Well, I got Mountain Blade for free on GOG like a year ago.
Yeah, I have that as well.
And then I saw Warband on sale, and I read the reviews about it and stuff, and I was like, I gotta have it.
Yeah, okay. We're gonna pick this up. Get the farmers to come back out there and pick it up. Jeez. Oh, got a second level. Oh, snap.
Oh, dang.
What is it? Reserve firewood is low. Storage for produced goods is at max. What is it?
I feel bad for these villagers. You have dragged them through hell.
I am dragging them through hell. It's
And
definitely
nobody's
not
taking
firewood.
your firewood.
Oh, I bet it's tools. Tools is at 350.
There was a point today in Mountain Blade I was riding around with like 10 different vassals as prisoners.
Oh, that's what's priority thing. It's giving them false hope, which is worse.
That's okay. They didn't have a chance in hell anyway.
I'm helping them to see the error of their ways. Nice 20. Gonna build yourself back up.
I'm going to. I'm going to through the time watching, and I'm going to get back up to 16,000.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like, I think it's like 10 or something per,
18.
15, something like that.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. I still haven't adjusted that, so.
I should have got you to up it at the beginning of the stream when I won like 3 in a row.
Oh, God. You know what would have happened? You would have lost everything.
Probably would
Leading up to
have.
the fight. Have you seen The Path to Sersky? Have you seen that? It's on Hulu. Because that's what that reminds me of, leading them to the light.
You know, Rick and Morty is on Hulu if you ever watch that show.
What is it?
Rick and Morty?
I only watched a little bit of that. I haven't.
It's really good, but now it's on Hulu.
Oh, you haven't seen The Path? I mean, it's a nice little drama. I guess that's what you call it. They have so many
Don't you have
freaking
to
genre
drama in your
names.
life?
Reserve stone is low. Reserve firewood is low. Yes.
You know you live in a small town when in the past 5 hours, not one car has passed by.
Settle has been passing by.
Yeah, it's because of the detour. It's just easier just to take the detour than to try to
Yeah.
cut down.
Why are they going so slow? I'm like on 10 times, and it's like as if I'm playing on 1 time.
My only complaint so far with Banished is I wish the mod or the dev who made it would have taken the time to optimize the game. Like, make it more stable with higher citizens and stuff.
Wish they would hurry up and finish building this freaking citizen work. Wish you like set this as a priority, be like, get over here, run meow. What are the builders doing? You are working, it says. Was caught and forced into slave labor. Rigged.
I didn't bet everything though, so that's good.
Yeah.
But I just like this because it's more of a challenge now. Plus, do you really want to play a game where I can use these against you?
What, currency?
Yeah.
No.
Me losing all my currency was the best thing that ever happened.
Somebody get over this thing. Jeez. It's like I set 9 of them on there.
No, but like I was saying, I captured 6 vassals today, and I was riding around, and somebody came by and stopped, and they were another vassal for the same kingdom, and they were like, "Can we talk?" I'm like, "No." They stopped me
Yep.
again. They're like,
You can go ahead and
"I'd like to
dab.
ask you if you could please release the vassals that you have as prisoners." I'm like, "No."
Yep.
And then they were like, "Well, we'll have no choice but to go to war." I'm like, "Okay." And then I captured them as a vassal, as a prisoner. That works.
It's like, prepare thyself for death.
Well, you can't kill them, which is cool. I mean, there's mods that allow for the execution,
Yeah.
but you can take them over, and then they'll eventually the kingdom will buy them from you, or they'll escape.
I totally didn't mean to upgrade that. Oops. Oops. Okay, there we go. We're back to normal. They still not. Yeah, they still haven't. Until they finish up here, they're not going to come back out.
Oh man, play with bees. I see beekeeper as a
Yeah, there's like a
setting.
beekeeper stuff and all like that. There's all kinds of
Play with bees. Let's start a nest of killer bees.
things. Killer bees to send out when a trader tries to gouge me on prices. I'm like, oh really? Let me see what my bees say about that. Why is this guy starving? You know how much food is in the storage? Go get yourself some food. Yeah, there you go. Jeez Louise, man. I got that set and ready to build. Got the other thing which is set and ready to build that they don't want to build. It's like all the materials are there. I just need someone to get over there and build it. Did this to me before. Go get the food.
Oh, you almost got them all back up to max hearts, but now the stars are going down.
Like losing so much food because they take their sweet time. Like, come on, people. You guys want to starve? Because that's what's gonna happen. Oh, did you hear about Tetris the movie? They're supposed to be doing a movie on that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, like there was a trailer for it. I don't know. I didn't understand it myself, but I was sitting at work when I was trying to watch it. So
Well, I mean, they're making Minecraft the movie. Next year it's coming out.
yeah, but with Minecraft, I mean, they had the story mode. So I mean, if they wanted to, do something along the lines of that, it's easy for them to expand it. I mean,
Speaking of Tetris, I remember my dad showing me back when the internet was still in its infancy, the new Tetris thing. I can't think of where I found it. There was a new Tetris game going around back in the day, and if you put like a male and female piece together, if you put a male and female piece together, they would hump and then disappear.
wow,
Back when shit like that was like the greatest thing ever on the internet.
that's something. Ah, the guards are switching shift. Care to try your luck again, good sir?
Yeah, why not?
Wow. You are
I'll
just
try it.
you are just wanting that beating, huh?
Oh yeah.
Played Tetris on a brick game.
Well, here's something for you. I had the Tiger Electronics Metal Gear Solid handheld game back in the day, and I wish I knew where it was at now, because I've heard they're pretty rare.
Games.
I had Aladdin, 101 Dalmatians, and then the Tiger Electronics Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, I remember those little like single game handhelds were like the shit back then.
That was the shit.
It's like, oh my god, I can take a game with me on the car ride. Now I
Yeah,
don't
I
have
can
to
throw
mess
up on
with
the
my
road trip.
parents. Oh, dude, I had a Tamagotchi too. I
Who
had a
didn't have a
Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchi?
Yeah, like everybody. Like it didn't matter if you were like a cool, like buffed out dude who was on the football team. You had a damn Tamagotchi. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. That Tamagotchi, it didn't, say anything to your manliness or your girliness. It was a cool factor. You had to have a damn Tamagotchi.
Like Pogs? That was crazy.
Oh my god.
Like going into Eckerd Drugs or something, and then there's like that big tub of Pogs like right before the counter. It's just thousands of Pogs.
I remember
And
they had the Pog Maker systems where you could get those. My cousin had got
I remember-
one of those. Oh my god.
I remember, I think it was Tampa. One of the Eckerd's Drugs, it's no longer, I think it's like a CVS now or something, over near Ybor, had slammers, but they were behind this closed lock case like games at Walmart.
Oh,
because
yeah.
people were coming in and stealing the slammers.
Well, I had my my grandpa made me one. He made it out of brass because he had like a what do you call it, a drill press. So I mean, he could sit there and he could literally, carve out a freaking slammer for me. So I ended up having that, and I mean, I never got beat because I'd slam that slammer down. I didn't even have to slam it that hard, and I would flip the entire stack.
Yeah.
And when we played for keeps, oh my god, I had such a collection. All
I
because of
remember
that
people.
slammer.
I remember people doing the playing for keeps crap.
Oh yeah,
That's
we did
where it started
every
and
Friday.
died.
Every Friday we did that.
I remember that trend starting and dying with Pogs.
Oh, good game, Leroy. Leroy. I should get a sound effect for whenever that does it. Hit the sound effect button, but then it'll be late because of the freaking stream delay.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that sucks.
Oh, what else was
still
really
don't
popular?
know.
Oh, Jinko jeans. That was ridiculous.
Oh, they're supposed
Go-
to bring those back. I
Yeah,
love
I
those
heard.
Jinkos.
I remember going to the roller rink and seeing people with those things like all ripped and torn at the bottom.
Oh yeah, because they were like right on the ground.
Unless you got the shorts. I mean, they did make shorts for a while.
Yeah, but the shorts were like, I mean, depending on how long your legs were. If your legs were too long, then you didn't. They rubbed the ground.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they're
Oh,
supposed
did
to
you
bring
hear
it back.
that? Crystal Pepsi's coming back for a limited time.
Oh god,
I never got surged though. It never came up here.
it never came up there.
No, it was
That
never
sucks.
destined. According to the map on the Coca-Cola maps, it was never going that high. Oh, I also asked somebody who but helps people get rallies and checkers franchises
Uh-huh.
if they'll ever bring one up here. They were like, no, we're not interested in New England.
Jeez.
I'm like,
It's like,
wow,
why not?
okay. There's a big market of Floridians and crap that are up here that want that stuff.
Yeah. Oh sweet, I got some leather so I can start making clothes. Where that tailor at? There we go. Alright, sweet. So now I have a tailor going to town, working.
The only thing I don't like about this heist thing is it spams the chat.
The what?
The only thing I don't like about the bot thing or the heist thing is it spams the chat.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, there, Steam Jar left. See you, Steam Jar.
Yeah, StreamYard just boop. Yeah, I want to try to set it up to where it, whenever you do nuts or whatever, that it'll whisper it back to you.
Yeah, I was gonna
Rather
say,
than
now that they have the
actually-
Whisper system going, maybe you could get it to relay through Whisper.
I know before when I had it doing like the welcoming and all like that every time somebody came in, I had it on /W and it would whisper people. It worked half the time, but that was on the old system. So I chose.
I mean, I guess if it's really bugging people, people could just click on Captain Bot and click ignore.
Yeah. Oh. They've got all the materials in place for this for that stuff. Yeah, I don't understand why these woodcutters are taking their sweet time. I guess maybe because of the density of the houses I have here.
Maybe.
Yeah, I can think of. We've got like 600 something wood. Should I go ahead and
Just a heads up for Mountain Blade, don't use the Steam Workshop to get mods because it doesn't put it in the folder. It doesn't put it in the modules folder for Mountain Blade. It's best to go get them from like Tail Worlds or something.
okay.
If you're gonna mod it, I spent 4 hours trying to figure out why I kept getting an RN or RGN code or whatever saying it couldn't find the mod info. And then I finally looked in the modules folder and saw that it's not putting it anywhere. So I went and downloaded it, but then when I downloaded the Florist mod, it added it into a new file into the game's file. So I had to grab it, delete the new file, and move it to modules, and now it works. Let's see, as a foot soldier for the Nords, I've been knocked out like 5 or 6 times.
Oh, you know, there was this mod for Banished. It's called Nordic Buildings. But I looked at it, and you know the red and white barns that you see. What is it? The red and white barns you see, like the atypical freaking farm in America.
Yeah.
That's what the buildings were designed like.
Well, that's ridiculous.
But they were called Nordic buildings. I was like,
that's not Nordic at all.
yeah, it does not compute.
It's like 50 Shades of Grey for like.
I mean, it was cool design because all the buildings were that colored, but it wasn't Nordic.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna claim Nordic, like this is more Nordic themed than that sounds.
Yeah.
Even though I do think that thatch roofed houses should have been an option in this game. Or even mud huts.
Yeah, they're still not coming over here. Where's something at? Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and save it. Ugh. Yep. Let's see. I think it's about time.
I just noticed the time.
Yeah, I did too. Time flies when you're having fun. Hey, what's up, Zane? Can you tell me how to download it? I got it on GOG. I bought it on sale for, I think it was $5.
Hey, YouTube.
But GOG sale is over. You can go on Steam and get it.
Yeah, it's like $10 or something.
Digital laborers get you out of the hole. Yeah, I'm still trying to get, what do you call it, firewood going. And I'm trying to get my builders to actually do something. They don't want to do anything. Yeah, let me get you the link here. It is $6.79 on Steam Powered. On Steam. Yeah, it's $6.79 US. I need to see. Let's see. Is anybody live right now that we can pop over? Let's see. Okay. This guy, he's named Hi Carrie. Let me see. Is he live right now? Let me double check and make sure he's live before we all pop over there and he's not there. he's not live. Dang. He's AFK for another 7 minutes. Let's see. I was telling somebody in the YouTube chat, he was wanting to know how to get banished. So I gave him a link to the, what do you call it? Banish download on Steam to get it. That's what, about 35 pounds? Yeah, I heard the pound was going down in price. Like, that was just... what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go use the bathroom, and then, when I get back, if you want to look, Toaster, for a raid target.
Oh, I was doing Mountain Blade stuff.
Oh, you're doing your own thing? Okay. Alright, I'm gonna go use the bathroom. Oh, you gonna look?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can look and find somebody, playing, and then, when I get back, we'll go play in there. But I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna go use the bathroom, and then, let me get a feel for the game. Some great, that's the workshop on the Steam Banished. Yeah, I don't have it on Steam. I need to get it on Steam. It's only $6.79. But we'll see. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay,
Okay, I had to go use the bathroom.
Watching it. I'll link it to you.
Send me a link on, what do you call it? Discord.
I already did.
Yeah, unless somebody pops up, because I was trying to get Haikiri, but he's AFK.
There, I posted it again.
Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Alright, let's see. Alright, guys, let's see here.
Because I'll be dragging these nuts across your face.
So he's playing,
Wow,
get
dude,
my
you
screen
fucking
up
trolled
so
me.
you guys can see it.
Mountain Blade Warband.
Got trolled so fucking hard.
Mountain Blade
Oh my
Warband.
God.
Let's see.
Did you really just do that to me? Really? Oh my
Where is
Jesus
my...
Christ.
There we go. Alright, let's go ahead and link this in chat.
My lord, you're dead.
But yeah, I really appreciate all you guys coming in, hanging out. You guys are freaking awesome. You guys really are. And to all the new people, the toasters of the chat. Thank you guys.
Lit bro, how you doing, man?
But
Say what?
this is the raid targets, and
I'm punching you all in the
hashtag I'm not gonna say nuts raid because to a
What's up?
raid. Let me ask him. Well, yeah. Alright, guys. Well, I will catch you guys later. And let's see. I never even transferred it over. I was like, what in the world? Why is it not showing? Yeah. Let's. If you guys want to hang out and pop over, that's the link for the channel, and then I'll see you guys there. Bye bye.
You went from 9 people to 20.
Let me patch you up. Five of them on it one. I don't know if it was the whole squad, but